SMTN.
How's it going, everybody, and welcome to Shin Megami Tensei Network Link 348. I am your mediocrely metaphorical podcast host, Spencer Presley, and joining me from the great YouTube waffle rivalry is the one, the only plural Waffles. Waffles, how you doing?
I'm doing okay. I'm here.
Now, I'm sure we've talked about this, because, as we all know, you're the only friend I've had on the internet for at least 20 years. That's how long we've known each other.
What the fuck? That's stupid.
So, when I was thinking about this, I was like, I'm sure I've asked you this before, probably even on the podcast, but is there a reason it's plural, and have you ever thought about doing singular?
That is a good question because, oh man, there's a slight story behind the name, I guess. I joined a chat room. I think it may have been an IRC chat room or something, and my name had the word Kitsune in it.
Mm-hmm.
And this person in there was so pissed off about it, and they're like, you're just a weeb, basically. And so, like, I was like, okay, so I left, and then I came back in, and I just, like, for whatever reason, I just typed the name Waffles McCoy, and it stuck.
I just,
Not
I want you to know, out of, like, everything we've ever joked about, or, like, anything, the one, like, really fucked up thing, like, I still can't ever get out of my brain from, like, old shows we used to do, is, like, every now and then, like, for no reason at all, like, literally no reason at all, I will think about that stupid time we brought up the Adam Sandler sketch of "They're All Gonna Laugh at You," and I'll think about that at least once a month, and it makes me laugh hysterically because it's just if you haven't looked it up, like we talked about it on the podcast probably like years ago, but like especially if you're someone like us who has so many just stupidly nerdy hobbies, it's just so funny to think like, hey, how are you gonna spend your time? Oh, I'm gonna spend my time playing 200 hours of Persona 3 and then publicly admit that to the world. And then you just hear, like, was it the grandma? Like, who was Adam Sandler doing an impression of? Like, I remember it being was it the mother or the grandma?
I want to say grandma. It's been a minute, though. It's probably been decades since shit, but...
It's just like I just always remember like, no, they're all gonna laugh at you. Don't talk about how much you spend on Honkai Star Rail. No.
Oh man.
All right, I'm looking it up now. They're all gonna laugh at you. I forgot it's from his. I forgot it was from his. It was from his studio album. It wasn't even like there's not even like he didn't like do it even like on an SNL sketch, which is funny. Why is there? I used to realize why I'm reading this. Why is there a fucking like Wikipedia article for this? Also, it is the mom because I forgot. I'm looking at the transcript of it because followed up by them, it's just, oh mom. Come on, Mom. Oh, Mom, will you please?
Yeah, I remember the way that we got that CD as kids was that my second oldest brother was subscribed to, I think it was, what was it? Fucking Columbia House Records, I think. And they would just like send out CDs, and I think that must have been one of them that was sent out one month. But yeah. So I think that is how I know of that sketch.
One day, I think probably while waiting in line at a Dunkin' Donuts, I'll run into Adam Sandler in like baggy jeans or something, and I'll ask him to say that for you.
I'm sure he'll be delighted. I
Let's be
actually don't know
honest,
what
no
kind
one
of
has
jeans
asked
he
Adam
is.
Sandler to do that, like, at least in 10 years. No one has asked him to do that. But yeah, Waffles is back. We were trying to figure this out before the show started. We were like, Waffles, I will talk to you at least every couple of weeks or so. I'll like bother you and send you something horrendous and offensive on like DMs. But like, I try not to be too desperate, letting you know how much I desperately miss you on the show weekly and
Oh.
daily. But I had to bring you on because I was streaming Metaphor last week, and I noticed on my friends list, I said, hey, who's that fuckboy over there playing Metaphor on their goddamn PlayStation 5? Which, mind you, it's been so long, Waffles. The PlayStation 5 wasn't even out when you were last on this show.
Oh God.
Yeah, let that sink in.
Wow. I think time is fake.
Time is a flat circle that is constantly haunting us.
Hmm.
So, I saw you playing Metaphor, and I knew you were going to be playing more than I was. We talked about it last week with Brian on the episode, but the Metaphor demo is out. It's still out, and all the progress will be carrying over into the full game. That I fucking cannot believe this. So we're recording this on the 6th of October, and everyone will be listening to this on the 7th. So the Monday before the game comes out on Friday the 11th. And absolutely wild that this game is so close to coming out. And I was talking about this as well with like LaRue recently, and we'll get into it as well with the game. But like, I genuinely can't think of a more big dick, confident energy move Atlas has done in recent memory than drop this demo. Like, it is just so much content that like, even if you couldn't afford the game at launch, like that, like it will still give you hours of content,
Hmm.
which is crazy because like seriously, we never got a demo for Persona 5. There was like a demo for Strikers, but that was only ever in Japan. We never had one for Persona 4, any of the 3DS games. Uh, yeah, even like SMTs, like those never really did demos or anything crazy like that. Like it's a thing that's kind of out there for them. Like the only prolific demo I can think of, and it's for the stupidest reasons ever. But do you remember the demo for Catherine?
I do not.
So Catherine had a demo at least for there may have been one on the PS3, but I know for Full Body there was a demo. And actually, I'm trying to remember. Waffles, did you play Full Body, or did you only ever were you only ever aware of the OG Catherine?
I never played any of them. Well, okay. I think somebody let me play or attempt to play a level, and I tried to do it, and I
You
got
said, Cubert,
too
get the fuck out of here. I don't want to push these blocks.
I got too scared.
Bro,
I
I mean,
felt like
listen. If you're scared by level one, wait till you see the baby with the chainsaw. Like you're not ready for the
oh
chainsaw baby.
god. Yeah, I don't enjoy being chased in games, and that felt like being chased at the
What? How
mechanic.
much?
Like
How much would we have to donate to get you to do a Dead by Daylight stream?
you would need I mm-mm. Nope. Nope.
Just chasing the video game.
No, I don't. No, I don't think that would happen.
I mean, this is our first episode of October, and I know it's an aside to an aside to aside, but like, I forget if we talked about this. Like, are you a horror person or like no horror at all?
I'm I'm honestly kind of not a horror person. I one of my oldest friends is super 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 into horror. Like has like classic horror film monsters like tattooed on her, and she's got pyramid head tattooed on her. I'm like,
Is this a friend I know?
no,
I was
No,
gonna
this
hope. I
is.
was like, is there a friend that we both know who's got Pyramid Head? I assume is a tramp stamp. That seems like the classiest place to put Pyramid Head.
I actually don't remember where Pyramid Head is, but yeah, she's also got Star Wars and, but yeah, she's my Star Wars horror uh friend, and
I mean, what more do you need in a friend?
yeah, but like so like it's not my normal wheelhouse. But when we hang out, I'm like, well, that's what she likes, so like I'll like watch with her, and some of it um is actually it's not stuff that I would normally choose to watch, but like what's that one with the fucking sorry, I just
I
there's
want to
profanity.
say I'm gonna make a horribly wrong prediction. Are you gonna ask me about What We Do in the Shadows?
No, it was the
Damn it!
one oh I should know this. This is sad. It's the one with the guy and he puts a chainsaw on his arm or something. Or
Not
is it a
Chainsaw
gun?
Man?
No, it's
Oh,
not
are you
Chainsaw
thinking
Man.
Evil Dead?
Yeah, 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 yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
with
So I
Bruce
watched,
Campbell, Sam Raimi.
yeah, yeah. So I watched that one and I was like, actually this is entertaining. I can do this. I can do
Well,
this.
yeah, I mean, Evil. So that's specifically Eve Ash versus the Evil Dead. No, that's the show. The names are all fucked up. Evil Dead 1 is like a straight campy horror gross out movie, and then the sequel, by the time unsurprisingly when he gets the shotgun and glues a fucking chainsaw to his nub, it gets goofier. Like that one's a lot more like silly, like it gets a lot sillier with it, so I can definitely understand that.
Yeah, so like I was on board with that and like she showed me The Mandalorian and I loved it. I loved it.
Oh
The
my god,
Mandalorian
I
was
I don't know
so
why I was
good.
like, oh my god, what am I gonna do if like you hate the Mandalorian?
No, it's really good. It's really good. I'm not a Star Wars person, like just
Yeah, what do you like
generally
about it? And that's
speaking.
funny. I'm like, I don't think of you as like a Star Wars head or like a Boba Fett guy. So I'm like, what are you into it for?
I think the cinematography was great. I think it had
Just say
some
Baby
really
Yoda.
like interesting music. What?
Just say Baby Yoda. Stop
I
lying
mean,
to us.
Baby Yoda was cool. Yeah, I liked Baby Yoda, but like I think the best thing about it is the atmosphere and also the Mandalorian's character development was just really, I mean, it just hits good.
Pedro Pascal, man, that guy fucks.
Yeah, yeah, it was really good.
Am I like gonna
Um,
find out now? Like you've only watched the first season though, and like you didn't even know there were like two more seasons.
I think I've watched one and two, and then like the branch off that was Boba Fett,
Oh, okay.
I
That was
think.
the thing I was going to ask because most people didn't watch Book of Boba Fett. But the funny thing about that show was at the halfway point, it just becomes another season of The Mandalorian. He just hijacks the show for like two episodes.
Oh my God.
So no, yeah, there's a whole other season. But I was gonna like, are you aware of next year? They're just straight up doing a movie that's just called The Mandalorian and
Oh.
Grogu.
Oh, that's cool. Oh man. Well, I guess I'm going up to New York again.
I mean,
'Cause I
listen,
do. That's who I watch it with, my New York friend.
that's nice. I mean, listen, I I know we're in a weird time with Star Wars. It's really popular to shit on it, and I know there's a lot of weird, dumb, bad decisions that get made by Disney, but like I still genuinely think there's a lot more good than bad with it when it kind of comes out there for it. So I'm glad that you have that because like my Star Wars friend in New York is my wife, who I forced to try and watch at least some of them. Like some of them she'll be into it,
Mm.
some of them like not. Like I remember before the well, not the Last Jedi, before Rise of Skywalker, the last main movie. I was like, hey, I want you to try and watch these and let me know what you think. And we watched 7 and 8, and she was into those. And then 9, she was just like, I don't even know if I'm upset. I'm like, I don't know if I'm mad. Was this bad? Was it good? Like, what was it? Like, because remember, she hadn't seen 1 through 6, so she's just like, what the fuck was that whole movie? Who's the wrinkly guy who
Uh,
came back? Why the fuck? Who's the fucking Emperor Palpatine? But then what was funny was that same year that 9 came out was when Mandalorian came out, and then she just
mm,
fucking glommed on that show.
it's it's good.
It's good.
I actually, I'm trying to remember what the last actual like theatrical release I watched was.
like any movie.
Oh my God. It was the guy named Finn. That's the
Yeah,
guy, right?
yeah.
I remember
The one who
him
was the
and
stormtrooper.
the girl and the woman.
Yeah, Finn and Rey.
That's very descriptive, I know.
It's okay. There's not a lot of women in Star Wars, to be fair.
But yeah, so I saw whatever one that was, and I liked it. I liked it. Like I can't say that I watched a Star Wars movie and absolutely hated it. I don't think there's one that I could honestly say that about. Like, I'm like, yeah, they're pretty cool. But yeah, The Mandalorian though, when I saw that, I'm like, okay, no, no. I really actually genuinely like this and I'm curious about more.
One of the most underrated episodes of the SMTN podcast that, of course, no one ever brings up, but also no one ever complains about, is for no reason at all. I think we were just really bored back in like 2015 or something. You and me did an episode commentary for The Phantom Menace that no one asked for.
Did we?
We
What?
did. We
I don't.
watched that whole movie.
Oh my God. Wow. These are things that I should remember.
Well, we had a riveting talk about the Trade Federation, taxations, all of that. It was a hoot and a holler. So then like now I was like thinking, okay, so how often do you see your New York Star Wars friend?
About once every other year, maybe. I need
Okay.
to go visit her again because she's been having some health issues. I'm like, I gotta go see her soon.
Let me know the next time you go up there because will either have to force my way into the trip or vicariously through you make sure I need your because I bet your friend has already watched it, but I doubt they would say no to you watching with them. You should watch then Andor because Andor's the real fucking great show.
Oh, okay.
That's the one with I'm forgetting his name, Diego Luna. It's the prequel to Rogue One. So did you ever watch Rogue One?
That sounds familiar.
It had like Mads Mikkelsen in it. It was basically the whole thing was like, how do you get the plans for the Death Star leading up to A New Hope?
Hmm.
There's a big tall
That's a good.
robot.
Oh God, I should know this.
It's okay. Well,
Mm.
the best part is, even if you haven't watched Rogue One, because Andor takes place before it, it is completely standalone. It is if you thought Mandalorian was shot well, because remember Mandalorian was shot on like the like big screen thing they did, where they just have like a big round screen around everybody instead of doing sets. Uh,
Ah.
One of the reasons Andor took so long and still takes so long to film is it did everything on location. So Andor
Oh.
really looks pretty. Andor really,
Hmm.
really looks pretty. It's got probably some of the best writing and acting in all of Star Wars, and the fact that it is in a TV show that has almost nothing to do with Darth Vader or Star Wars or not Star Wars or like Skywalkers or Jedi are even better.
Hmm. That sounds
It's
cool.
very good. It's not too long, and there's only 2 seasons. The first one's out. I think the second one comes out next year. But it's like, like if you could perfectly time your next trip, that you guys basically just like sit down and marathon both seasons, it would be like I would be shocked if you did not like it.
Hmm.
It's very, very good.
Nice. I'll have to keep that in mind, definitely.
Well, everyone, thanks for listening to the Star Wars 10 Megami Tensei podcast. That was really nice of you all to be here for us. But remember when I said, hey, I'm going to go on a quick tangent and then I'll go back to the Catherine demo. So there was a PS3 Catherine demo and there was a full body demo. But the only reason I remember those demos, the demos are like 10 minutes long. They were like the most blink and you miss it kind of an experience. It's like I understand how to play it, but like you don't really feel like you learn anything about the game. The reason I always remember that Atlas did a demo for Catherine as an interesting note was a how excited I was for it, but the logo for Catherine was like their underwear, like it was a pair of panties.
Hmm.
But for the demo, what they did was they made it boxers. I don't know what
Oh.
that conveys, but it has never left my brain. That's just been like a little thing I can't unlearn.
Weren't boxers in one of the like box
Yeah, that was the
editions or
collector's
something?
edition. You got a pair of
Oh.
like heart covered underwear. But yes, Atlas demos, not a long history. Ooh, that'd be a fun video idea. Like the history of Atlas demos. I'd have to talk about like 4 demos, then I'd be done. Be really good. Uh, but we're going to talk a lot about Metaphor later. Unlike the long, complicated history of Star Wars, though, Waffles, you've been playing games. They do not have to be Atlas games. Besides Metaphor, though, what have you been playing? Like, what the hell have you been doing the last 5 years of your life?
Oh God. Well, there was a whole lot of Final Fantasy 14 for a long time.
Have you heard of this game? The little indie game?
Yeah, yeah, little known project. Uh, you know, they I hear there is a free trial.
Up to Heavensward, you say? Go
Yes.
on. By the way, we haven't talked about this in a while. Are you currently still playing 14? Because I know you basically lived 14, but like, have you taken a break or no?
I'm still subbed, but I have.
I'm not playing, but they are stealing my money.
Yeah, I kind of have fallen off of it for a bit, in part because of like physical like restrictions that I have now, but also I kind of just got into like a um I don't even know how to like articulate this, but like I reached a point where I was like, well, I'm not doing savage content. I'm doing extreme content, but like
Because
uh
you were never like hardcore company raiding all the time for the most part. Like you had a group you'd play with, but you weren't like the constantly doing raids like everything, right?
yeah, there was actually a time where I attempted to where I had a static where we were trying to do savage content, but unfortunately I'm not really a good candidate for a static like that because of you know just chronic health issues. Like with a serious savage static, you need people who are able to be there at a certain time for a certain length. They have to kind of um be able to, commit to a time, and it's like I can't really do that with some health stuff. Um so then it got to a point where I was like, well, why am I like uh so diligently keeping on top of like gear, you know, progression and stuff like that for
Hmm.
just almost almost all the time it was just me doing normal content. There was a time during Endwalker where I was doing a lot of extreme of a specific extreme trial. It was the Golbez trial because
Oh
I
yeah,
was
I know
like,
that.
this
I
is
know that one.
yeah, I was like, I want to do this one. This one's fun. It doesn't, it's not too flashy where it triggers migraines and stuff like that. Like this one I can do. I want to at least do Golbez. So like for a while that was one I was willing to do even without a static, just going into Party Finder and grouping up with randos and progging that way. And like I was really pretty satisfied with the experience in the end because like I did it without, you know, the help of the Savage Raiders that that I normally play with. That sounds so weird to say. It's
No,
kind of like
I get what you mean though.
I know these savage raiders, but yeah,
Yeah,
it's not at all
we
like
call them
that.
savages around here.
But yeah, like to be able to do something without, kind of feeling like I was being carried, I guess. And it's like I did pretty well for myself for a while, but like then Dawn Trail came and uh some of the effects are just way too much. Like there aren't mods to mitigate some of the flashing and stuff like that. So I'm like I can't do this. So why am I still building gear for normal content? So I just kind of lost motivation for it. So yeah, basically I think at this point I'm just playing, for story when they release story patches.
Well, and that's kind of what I regretted not talking to you about this more sooner. 14's in such a weird spot right now. Like Dawn Trail came out this year, right? It was this year. Holy shit! I had to make sure it wasn't
Yeah,
last year.
yeah.
Like I think me saying that's already like enough of a thing of like, dude, back in the day, like when Endwalker came out, like that was a fucking drop what you're doing. We're playing the new 14 expansion, and I think like I knew the momentum wasn't going to be as strong going into a new series, but I kind of thought like, okay, it's coming out in the summer. There's not really a ton of competition for it. I just kind of thought with it being a fresh start, it might be a little bit better for bringing on newcomers. Whereas more than anything, I've just heard people kind of be like, "Hey, I'm happy dipping out for a while. I'm happy to do
Mm.
something else. I'm happy to play like either something else, let some more content build up, wait for some patches." But like, I definitely do not hear as many people playing it regularly or as consistently, even as much as a year ago, which is kind of crazy to think about.
Yeah, it's tough because starting an entirely new story arc, the stakes feel drastically smaller. So I think that is a part of what people are kind of just feeling under engaged, maybe. I don't know if that's the right word, but I think um I think I think people need to be patient with how this story is going to build up to where the stakes feel kind of on par with the previous arc, but it's like it's such a tough act to follow.
Oh yeah, no, I have nothing but the most faith in the 15, the 14 team, but even then, like they're in such a you don't want to be in their shoes situation.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah, and what I don't know if this is accurate, but what I've heard is that some of the veteran writers who were chiefly responsible for Shadowbringers and Endwalker kind of handed the reins over to some newer folks to give them a chance. Uh, and like, so I feel like it's kind of stumbling while trying to find its stride. But
I would
like,
say story wise, from what I've seen, it is at least it doesn't feel like it's a step back from where we were at A Realm Reborn, which I think is at least good. Like I think there's a really solid structure to where they're at in the new continent, the new cast. I just think there's not enough kind of stickiness that's going to keep people playing every single week in that world.
yeah, yeah. Um, like I'm extremely resistant to the most aggressive of the naysayers, but I think it's fair to say that maybe people might be feeling a little like less like they're being drawn back into the story.
Yeah,
And
no, for sure.
it'll just take time for that to be built back up. There were a lot of sections of the story that I was personally impatient with. Um, Now, granted, the disclaimer is that I had already kind of just been my interest in 14 as a whole had already been waning, so like I didn't feel the same emotional investment that I had for the previous many years, I guess. Uh, but but yeah, I think it's just a matter of being patient while they develop this setting. Like it would be very difficult to have the same stakes immediately going out of the gate. Um, but I think there's probably, I guess I could say that there's a foundation there for them to build on.
Do
And
we
yeah,
do we know like I is it always been a hard and fast rule of about 3 years per expansion?
I want to say that's probably, let me think. That's probably roughly what it is, yeah.
Okay, because I wonder. I at least feel like where we're at with this expansion, I don't think any of the patches are going to be enough to really give a big bump to people. But I think like as we get closer to that next one, it will probably be a lot easier for people to kind of be like, oh hey, now there's two expansions kind of like the Heaven's Word effect was really nice of like you heard all the positive words about A Realm Reborn, but now it just felt like there was more there for you to really kind of like jump back into.
Yeah. I love Heaven's Word. It's so good.
Um, so you've escaped. The Final Fantasy prison has let go of you, but you still feel the need to hurt me by not playing Rebirth. So thanks for not playing Final Fantasy VII Rebirth.
Oh,
But like you, to
I
be fair, you
played a
you still
little
haven't
bit.
played Remake, right?
Um, Wait a sec. I played. Oh God, what did I
It was
play?
on PS4, so you might have played it there.
Yeah, it was something on PS4. I remember getting to the boss in the factory, and I think I beat
The
that
least
boss.
descriptive boss possible in Midgar.
Yeah, the reactor. I don't know. But yeah, I guess at the time, maybe I'd have to revisit it, but at the time I wasn't enamored by the battle system.
Interesting.
Um, yeah, I don't know. For whatever reason, I can't exactly even remember how it worked, but at the time it didn't grab me. But, it's probably worth just trying again because I would
I
like
forget.
to.
Were you a 13 guy or no?
No.
Okay. Because this is the 13 team, so I could almost see that.
Okay. Yeah, I've literally never played 13 any of them.
Waffles, you're sitting at a cool 2% of trophies in Final Fantasy VII Remake from 4 years ago.
Oh.
You won a battle and you staggered an enemy and you are still in chapter 1. So you're ready to
Oh
blow up that
boy.
scorpion any day now. $60 well spent.
Yeah. Yeah, yep.
Holy
I
shit, though, dude! You're really close to platinuming A Realm Reborn, though. Jesus Christ!
Oh, am I?
Yeah, you God, at this point, it's more of like what the fuck, like what the fuck are you not at? You need to do 1,000 level quests.
Oh, oh, ew. Ah. Oh, that's dirty.
You need to fish 1,000 times.
No, absolutely not.
That's it. You have every other trophy.
Those are Oh, those trophies suck, dude. I don't want to I am
What's
not
wrong?
one of the
What's
fishing
wrong? What's
guys.
wrong with fishing and level quests?
Mm, I'm just not a fish guy.
Okay,
Maybe if I could do ocean fishing,
fishing
but
aside, like how many of those quests do you think you've done? Like you've at least done hundreds of them.
uh, I guess I could feasibly log in right now and check.
I just want you to give me your sign in and I'll do the fishing for you just to get the platinum. We'll just
Honestly, I would let you do that because
we'll do it like we did
just
with Dancing All Night, where like we met up and we're like, hey, I got like 20 minutes to kill. Can I get the platinum for Dancing All Night for you? Sure.
uh oh, my game is updating. Oh Lord, it's been a while. Okay.
Because are you still playing on the native PS4 version or the PS5 version?
14 I'm playing on PC.
That's probably why you don't have it.
Oh.
I wonder if you would, because this is only the PS4 trophies. That makes more sense.
Oh, okay.
We made a wonderful discovery that Waffles, when you boot up Final Fantasy 14, it says "fuck your sound drivers." You're not going to hear anything Spitzer's saying.
Okay.
Was it just
Or
because the game was so loud, or like what do you think happened?
I'm not even sure.
Oh, you know what? I bet it was because you kind of replied to me a little bit, but then you're like, "Oh, hey, let me turn this down." I bet it just turned everything down when you turned the game down.
Oh, maybe it did. I don't know. I was messing with the chat wheel on my headset too. So like I guess it
Listen, I
depends.
try to run a tight ship here where we talk about video games, and then you're over here playing fucking critically acclaimed Final Fantasy 14 online. I try to pull you out, and then the fishing minigame brings you back in.
Unbelievable. I don't even know myself anymore.
It's okay. I know. I was just lamenting about what a wild PS5 collection you have. Because you've had what, a PS5 for like a year now?
Something like that.
How are you liking it so far? You're living in a pre PS5 Pro world. I know you're ready to dump another $700 in there.
That's funny. But um, but yeah, I mean it's cool. I I got SMT5 for it. I play Star Rail on it sometimes. I have 16,
It's basically your
which
HD RPG machine.
kind of yeah. I bought Rising for it, but I think I well said before that I can't really play Rising because my
Hmm.
hands are too messed up to
Hey
play
man, you think
fighting
you think
games
Rising's
anymore.
gonna be hard? Wait till you try to play Relink.
Oh boy.
I will say though, because I was thinking about this, I don't know how much of it you could play, but it's pretty chill. I might have to bully you into playing Astro's Playroom.
What is that?
Every PS5 it comes pre-installed. It's got the little tiny cute blue robot guy in there. It's a free game, like
Oh, I think
it's
I've
a full ass free platformer.
huh.
And the only reason I say you should check it out is due to the fact that A, it's free, it should be pre-installed, and if it's not, you can just download it. But the best part about it is all the little like video game Easter eggs in there
Huh.
of it plays like a 3D platformer like a Mario 64, but it's like very light on challenge. Like it's not meant to be like brutally hard. You can play it pretty like literally you have a double jump and a punch. Like those are your like action buttons. You move,
Hmm.
double jump, and can punchy things. So
Hmm.
it's very low stress, but then even if like, you don't want to get that far into it, it's almost worth it to just run around, experience. It looks really cool. It's a great kind of like tech demo for the controller, and all the
Hmm.
little Easter eggs in there are super fun. Like there's like the Buster Sword, bunch of ones like for like Resident Evil, Crash Bandicoot. I think they even have like it's either the new one or the old one might have had darts from Legend of Dragoon, and like it's just a whole bunch of like little cute like Easter eggs from like new PlayStation and like old PlayStation stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Because you've
Hmm.
probably seen the new one that just came out last month, like with like that one has like I think like 300 like little Astrobot costumes and stuff, like ranging from like Bloodborne. There's like a little Aigis, a Teddy, and a Joker from
Oh,
P5. Like
that's
have you
cute.
seen those?
No.
Oh my god, I'm about to send you something that's gonna hopefully make you very excited. Yeah, he's just a cute little like mascot platformer, but like that is on your PS5 for free, and it's just a uh, really fun little thing. So Been playing Honkai. You're finally free from 14, except now you're gonna have a fishing addiction probably. Uh, what? You know what? We talked about gotchas for a little bit for it. Where's Honkai at right now? I know there was like a really big update recently. Mary's been playing a bunch of that, but
hmm
where are you at in terms of like the honeymoon phase?
I'm still pretty swayed by Star Rail. I'm still pretty enthusiastic about it. And I think the last MSQ update was pretty decent actually. It lost me a little bit for uh I guess the patch before this, I was like, I don't know where this is going. I'm not happy to be back on the Xianzhou ship because I didn't like the original story, how they attempted to wrap it up initially, uh, in that second world. But the latest update I thought was good. And they keep on making like quality of life changes, which I think are, I mean, so far everything they've done has been like, yeah, this is good.
Nice.
Uh, yeah, and I'm excited about uh, some rumored characters that are in the works, I guess.
Are you talking about the Fate stuff?
Actually, I don't know Fate, so
Who's the rumored
I guess
ones? I'm
I'm.
trying to think of like who else is upcoming that I may or may not know of.
Do we discuss leaks on this channel?
Oh,
I'm
yeah, bro.
curious.
So, spoilers for. I'm gonna, dude. I don't even like know what that would mean to me. I'm literally gonna put this in right now into Google. We'll see what comes up. Honkai Star Rail leaks. Like if I do that, am I just gonna like see like
I don't know.
fucking
They're like,
like
I guess,
Honkai
okay.
grippers? Like what am I gonna see here?
I guess to be fair, the leaked characters that I'm excited about are going to be drip marketed like literally tomorrow.
All right. Can you give me a name so I
So
can try and look somebody up?
it is. Fuck. All right. Honkai Star Rail spoilers, everybody.
Oh God! If we get one complaint about these, I will lose my mind.
There is Sunday.
Because we already have Tuesday, right?
No.
No, hold on. Who's the girl? Is she have a number?
Oh, March 7th.
March 7th. I was like, there's a date character already in Honkai. Hold on.
But yes, there are rumors that Sunday will be drip marketed either tomorrow or the next day. If he is not dripped, then there's another spoiler character that will be dripped tomorrow.
Which is?
That is spoilers. Tingyun.
Hold on.
Second form of Tingyun.
I'm trying to remember how to spell their name. There we go. I
Uh,
got it.
yeah.
Second form?
Yep, because she's in the game
Yeah,
already.
that's why I was like, hold on. Yeah, I have her. That's why I'm like, hold on. I have this character. So what's the
Yeah.
difference? Do they just get hotter? Like, what happens?
Do you really want to know what happens to her?
Lay it on me, dude. We're already in the spoiler territory.
Spoilers for the Xianzhou arc. She fucking dies, allegedly.
No!
She fucking dies, allegedly. But, spoilers again for the most recent patch. Somebody may have brought her back to life. So,
Oh my
she may
God.
be dripped either tomorrow or the next day.
I'll tell you what, dude. I wasn't feeling Sunday. I'm dripping for Tingu to come back, though. I am positively perspirating from various orifices right now. The leaky drips, man. I want you to know the first thing I'm gonna talk to about Mary. She's gonna look at me and say, "Why the fuck are we in there for 9 hours recording?" And I'm gonna say, "Mary, you ready to start talking about these Honkai drips? Because I don't think you're ready."
Tomorrow at 11 either 11 p.m. Eastern time or 12 a.m. Eastern
This
is the
episode better
expected
fucking be up
first.
before these leaks. I need this to be in current. We don't want old leaky news on this show.
But yes, the drip marketing supposedly will be then for either Sunday or second form Tingyoon.
I'm hoping both now.
Well, so the way that the drip marketing works is the character that is dripped first is going to be the first half of the banner or the first half of the patch, the banner on the first half
Oh,
of the
yes,
patch.
yes, 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 yes.
Yeah, and then the next day, it's the character who is dripped will be the second part of the patch. And then on the third day, if there's a new 4-star character, they are dripped then. Uh, so I don't think at this time people think there's gonna be a 4-star leak or dripped rather. Oh my God, fucking all these terms. But yeah, so it's either Sunday or Tingyun. And yeah, the order I guess is just yeah, whoever drips first drops first.
I don't like. I don't. I don't like that sentence being put out there.
Uh,
Uh, Waffles. Last thing I want to ask you about then is a little known indie game called Shin Megami Tensei 5 Vengeance. Now,
oh, I
famously,
think I've heard of that.
yeah, famously came out in 2021. A couple of beta tester cucks out there were playing the game for us, and then they came out with a good version of it earlier this year over the summer. I think comically you bought it the last day it was actually fully priced. Because ever since like I told you that game went on sale, it has continued to be on sale. No shit, you can buy Vengeance right now on Amazon with the Steelbook for like $30.
Love that for me.
But you are now part of the elite tier super supporters slash dum dums like me who bought it at full price because we love Atlas and we knew the game
I
was going to be good.
oh God. The things that I had to do to get that steel book.
I don't like how vague you made that. Would you like to elaborate? Make it not seem like you went to some weird GameStop glory hole to get this copy of your game.
I mean, yeah. I
John
went
S. GameStop just sitting there saying, "You, what do you want for that steelbook? What are you willing to do to get rid of that plastic?"
because like I went online and it said there was one copy at the one like a 20-minute walk from me. So I went there and they were like, "Well, we don't have the steel book." I'm like, "But that's what I looked up. It said it was here, but it wasn't." Uh, and then how far away is the other GameStop near me?
I feel like we could have made Homeward Bound 4 out of this adventure.
Um,
Because you got it on PS5, you got the
yeah.
Steelbook edition. Now, to be fair, easily got to be like one of the prettiest Steelbooks that are out there.
Oh, yeah. Like, yeah, like for as much as my quest to get it was an ordeal, it was worth it.
Awesome.
But yeah, I walked there and it was several miles. It took me a really long time. It was like the heat index I think was like 105 or something. Holy crap. It was a lot.
Well, I mean, at least you melted and not the Steelbook.
Yeah, I mean, yeah. Um,
So you've been playing for a while. You're not all the way done, but are you doing Canon of Creation or Vengeance route first?
I went Vengeance because I was just curious about that, and I heard that the story was just better. Originally, I didn't get very far because I got the game and Endwalker was right around the corner, and also, I just had a little bit of trouble playing it on my Switch. I had the Switch Lite, um, So it just felt so awkward that the game, like playing it on my Switch Lite, was just not pleasant.
You just kept telling everyone,
Um,
"I don't want to play on this stinky Switch no more," and they were like, "Oh boy,
oh, I'm
stinky."
sorry, Switch.
What do you got? Like, I'm gonna get. Do you have the yellow Switch or the blue Switch?
I have it was like a Pokemon
Oh, you have the
special.
the Diamond and Pearl one, right?
Yeah, I
That
think
one is
that was
actually
it.
very pretty. I really like that Switch.
Yeah, let me look at my Switch here. Yeah, it was it's I mean it's great. Like I think it's I don't know. I wanted to love the experience, but I couldn't. I'm like this is just it feels bad. Um,
So now you're playing it on the most overpowered way to play a Nintendo Switch game, a PlayStation 5.
yep.
What was it like then to be like, oh shit, 60 frames?
Like it looks gorgeous. Like sometimes I would just stop. I mean, like I wouldn't have thought to compare the game previously to like Nocturne's visuals at all.
Hmm.
Uh, but there were times that I stopped and just stared at the screen in Vengeance and was like, yeah, I just want to look at this and I want to screenshot this. This feels like this gives me the same kind of feeling like some of the shots in Nocturne. Uh, like it looks great. This is stuff that I would want to sit and like just replicate with a painting.
I mean, dude,
And that's the feeling.
I love the look and the style, but also like the big one that I always go back to with that game more than anything is like, fuck, it's a great soundtrack.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, and also I guess in Vengeance, what is it, the Kadistu battle theme?
Hmm.
It's really good.
Oh yeah. Pretty much what's funny too is like all of the new tracks, like not that they don't fit in with the original soundtrack, but like when you hear one, it just so drastically hits you in the face of like, oh wow, this is new. Okay.
Mm. But yeah, man, that battle theme, so good. It's so cool.
Now, because we actually care about SMT5 leaks, we won't spoil SMT5, but what is where have you left off at in terms of like are you in the first, second, or third area?
I am, I guess I'm in the third area.
Okay, so you're in the giant, seemingly never fucking ending large area. So the third area, and what's so funny about it is, and I think it's not Shinjuku. It's
Maybe it,
I'll look it up because it's they're all based off real districts.
I might
SMT5.
actually still be in the second because
That's
I think
okay.
it's Shinjuku.
Sure, let me look up.
There's some grass that has
Does
like
is it like
glowing.
does it like light up when you like walk around it?
Yeah.
Okay, that's
Yeah.
the third area. So you are in the third area.
Okay, cool.
So the third area is so long, and this area is the main new section in the game. It will feel so long that by the time you get done with it, like especially in comparison, because the first level is pretty like Minato is pretty like normal tutorial-y, like you're just heading north of like stuff that's going on.
Mm,
And then Shinagawa is like it's kind of like a circle, but you still feel like you're doing more stuff. And especially like not until you get to like the fairy village does it
mm,
really like get rid of the brown. And then when you get to Shinjuku, it's like, oh, I know what this is. So what's funny about like with Shinjuku, because I'm not sure exactly where you are. Here's what happens when you're exploring Shinjuku. Whoa, this is so big and expansive and it looks so pretty, but I don't really see the Shinjuku vibe. Oh, okay, I kind of see some of the city. That's cool. I see where this map's going. Oh, it's still going? Oh, there's a downtown? Oh, that's cool. And then you come back to it later. Oh my god, there's more? When the fuck does this map end? Like it is so comically large that the fact that it's not the final area is so funny to me.
Hmm. Yeah, I guess the last vague description of the thing that I need to do is I need to talk to Yuzuru again in the dorm.
Hmm.
Is I don't
So
know
you're
if
not
that is
purple
too
yet.
vague.
You're not purple yet.
I am not purple yet.
Bro, when you get to be purple, I want to hear some opinions because man, the story goes into some place. Because now that you're in the new area, like this is where the new content like really starts coming out, like and is really different than the first game. Like you can really tell, especially in the beginning, that like even from what you probably played of the original five, like the moments where like the Kadishtu show up, it's like okay, this feels like it's an added fight. This feels like this is an added mechanic. It doesn't fit unnaturally, but you can tell that it was kind of added. Versus the stuff that they start adding, it would almost be like I don't even know like how you would compare it like without knowing what the game originally had.
Hmm. Yeah, because
Um,
with the original game, I think I didn't get very far. The thing that is freshest in my memory from original 5 is uh what's her name climbing into the big ugly thing's mouth. And then we went back to the place where the uh punishing foe guy that chases you in Digital Devil Saga. Oh my God, I can't remember their name. Horse guy that does a pelvic thrust. I don't know. Anyway, Kumbanda.
oh yeah, yeah.
Yeah, so I remember girl getting in the mouth of the thing, and then the thing went back to that place. Uh, and I think that is about as far as I got in the original.
So has it just sort of been like a thing like you're picking up and just sort of like playing because obviously like you're not like trying to rush through it or anything with it like has it like stayed pretty much enjoyable, has there been anything that's kind of been like surprising to you like where have you sort of been at now that you've really put a large amount of hours into it?
I'm enjoying it. I kind of broke my momentum a bit because I had to do some pet sitting for a week. And the TV there was everything was fluorescent, and I didn't know how to correct it. So I was like, this is like eye-searingly bad. I can't play the game on this TV. So I took a week and took a week off, and I need to kind of get back into the flow.
Okay.
But yeah. But so far I'm enjoying it. I am enjoying the experience a whole lot more than I did when I was playing it on my Switch.
So I will be quick because I unfortunately have just been playing unfortunately reverse that. I'm definitely not trying to immediately jump into mine with a negative. I have been playing because I'm like, all right, I need to beat the answer in episode Aigis for P3R before Metaphor comes out. I'm like, I'm so close. Um, Doing a bunch of like work stuff and like other life things got in the way that like I was going at a really good pace too. Like I pretty much went through almost all, like I think I went through 6 out of the 8 doors in the first like 7 days. Like I really like cranked out a good portion of the answer. So like you remember when you're in the desert of doors in the basement?
Vaguely.
Considering the answer is most well known for just being you're going through the basement doors fucking endlessly, that's about all you really need to know. It's the basement, it's a desert, there's doors in the basement. So, I still really like episode Aegis. I can tell you, whenever I do finally do a review for it, gonna assume it's probably not gonna be this week. Maybe if I'm really lucky, I can get this to come out. The problem is, I could definitely get it done this week. I'm just not sure if I could get it done before Metaphor comes out. And then I don't want to just put something out when no one's looking up content for this because everyone's going to be wanting to talk about Metaphor. Um, I have been really hot on this game. I did not like the game originally when FES came out, but I thought, hey, they're doing a lot of really interesting stuff with it. I don't know if either something happened with the way I was playing or what. I've been playing on normal and just something hit me in the seventh and especially in the eighth dungeon for the answer, and it's just like either it's a difficulty spike or a spongy spike of
Mm.
just every fight isn't hard, it just feels like it's taking overly long. Like I'm level 79 fighting level 73 enemies, and they're maybe five shotting me. Like if you get a couple of good weaknesses or ailments like back to back to back, and like the answer is meant to be harder. It's an epilogue to the base game. It is meant to be
Yeah.
harder than the base game. I totally get that. But I was going at such a good pace with my party through so much of the game that, like, it's not a level thing. I'm already over leveled for where I need to be, and my loadout's great. I've got, like, the most powerful weapon in the game for Aigis. Like, literally, Aigis, I have a weapon on her that is like level 400 stats where most things are in the 300s, and it has pierced through everything.
Mm.
So like my equipment's solid, my loadout for everyone is really solid. Like my compendium has been pretty caught up, and it's like I'm playing the game still. It just felt like, and what's nice about it too is like it's not like Tartarus where it just keeps getting longer. Every one of the 8 doors you go into are like a little mini Tartarus, where there's different zones and there's different bosses at predetermined points. But they have a really good cadence of every door, with the exception of the last one, is 25 floors, about 24 to 25 floors. Of you're going to fight 2 bosses randomly in between number 1 through 25, and then there's a cutscene. And they do that 8 times, which ironically doesn't really feel like it gets stale because the enemy variety and the bunch of different stuff that they do is it goes at a good cadence. You get enough story. There's enough kind of things bringing you back out of the dungeon and whatnot that I had no problem with. I was blowing through it and having a really really good time for the first 6, and I just started dying after like the final boss in the 7th dungeon, and I've probably died like maybe 4 or 5 times in the 8th dungeon, and it is
Mm.
wild because literally I think in P3R the entire base game I maybe died once, maybe.
Huh.
So it's just like really weird of like it doesn't feel like a difficulty spike, but I'm not having fun dying because remember when you die in Tartarus you're not just going back to that last floor. Like, if I get hosed on floor 1, yeah, that sucks, but I'm not losing a lot of progress. If I lose 9 floors worth of progress, I'm more likely to want to just say, okay, fuck it, I'm not going to do these series of bosses or mini challenges, and I'm just going to try and grind. Which then isn't fun either. So, like, I'm
Mm.
losing the satisfying nature of dungeon crawling because I'm then having to redo it again because I lost all my progress. And like losing dungeon progress is one thing, but I think it's especially another when you lose all those level up progress.
Yeah.
So it was that thing of like, man, this game has not challenged me at all. And now that it is like, and I think another good comparison of something that's in Vengeance that you may not have noticed wasn't in the original SMT5, you can save anywhere. But even in the
Yeah.
original game where you couldn't save everywhere, you at least knew that if you died, that last save point at a leyline fountain, those were always pretty generously paced out. You were never really going to have to repeat a lot of content.
Hmm.
And like now I'm like doing this thing of like, oh, sorry, you were panicked and he did ghostly whale, so now you're fucked and you got to go. You got insta killed. And now you got to go all the way back. Because the way P3R works, it will let you redo boss fights, but that doesn't count enemy boss fights leading up to that. So if it's not a predetermined, like you know how in Tartarus it would give you, hey, you're on this floor, here's a teleport back, and we're going to warn you that there's a boss fight. Like, outside of those clearly telegraphed spots where it tells you there's a boss fight, those fights, if you lose them, you can instantly repeat. If you haven't saved, it'll let you just be like, "Hey, go right back to the boss fight, or go right back to that same floor." But in the rest of the game, it just says, "Oh, go back to the Desert of Doors or load up your last save," which 9 out of 10 times is going to be at the Desert of Doors. Like most people,
Oh.
because like I might be wrong. Like, did you ever play P3 like this? Of when you found the teleporters, did you always take it back and then save and then go right back? Because like for me, I almost never did the teleporters. I would only do the teleporters before I got to the boss checkpoints.
I am gonna be real. I played in when did I? Well,
1973.
yeah. I mean, FES was my first like intro to the entire meta series or whatever. Oh my God, when did I play that? It was probably like 2009 or 10. It's been a
Okay.
while.
No, you're good. But like, do you kind of see what I mean though? Of like, it's that thing of like I imagine at least the way I'm playing, I can't imagine it's that drastically different than how most people would because especially the way Tartarus it kind of ingrained in my brain of like most of these fights will almost never be a challenge, and the ones that are going to be a challenge, you'll know you're jumping into
Mm,
before you fight it. Like whether it be like, oh, this one's like a super tough fight, or this one's going to be a marathon fight, where you have enemies fight you back to back to back to back. And
mm,
those ones you'll always jump into voluntarily and know. Whereas just like for some reason, it's so funny of like I've had normal fights where I just get a bad lineup, or especially the enemy variety. Ironically, as you're getting closer to the end of the game for this answer, is they are giving you so many enemies that have no weaknesses.
oh.
And when you're getting, and again, I'm not saying like every like, because like you don't want every fight to just be like rinse and repeat, but like
Mhm.
when you're getting into boss fights where the only way to do an all-out attack is to hope you get a crit, those fights drag way more. They're way
Mm,
slower because that game is all supposed to be about like bam, 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 bam of like one more, one more, one more.
mhm.
And then you think about like, oh well, now you got to fight these three beetles who have half resistant everything and no weakness. And I'm like, okay, so I just have to hope I get a crit.
Yeah. Like I don't remember the exact reasons why. But I do remember when I played the answer, I was frustrated, but I don't remember if it was specifically like the same reasons because it was so long ago.
Hmm.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's. I'm still going to see it through. I'm really enjoying the story. I think the way they're doing the story is way better this time. I still
Mm.
wish more of it was voice acted, but I think the new added content is really good. It's just so weird because, like, man, when a game is like when you're at the end and then it starts giving you the bullshit enemies or the bullshit dungeons, it's like, no, you were so close. Like, I'm glad I'm playing it, but it's like one of those things where I'm like, oh yeah, dude. Like if you stopped playing this because of this, I would not blame you at all. Because it's just kind of
Mm.
like you just know, and that's the tricky thing with the answer. Remember, there's no social element. It is just grinding. It
Yeah.
is just dungeon, 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 dungeon. Which in normal P3R I didn't mind because it's fast gameplay. It's really fun. It's really frenetic. You have the whole party unlocked. You get it like you really get to kind of like stretch the combat system out in a lot of fun different ways. But it just feels like they kind of got to a point in this last dungeon, at least that I'm at, where it's like, okay, but we don't want you to go through it too fast.
Hmm.
And that's a bummer. So like I know there's one other section after where I'm at. I hope that my final opinion on that kind of changes. Maybe I'm just at a weird section or something like that, but it's a big bummer because I was leaning into this and being like, hey, if you are even remotely into P3R, this is really great. Definitely check it out, and I will still say that. But like, I'm definitely gonna like where I was at probably when I started playing. I was at like a 9 out of 10. I'm definitely in more of the like, oh yeah, this is probably back down to the sevens
Hmm.
of like it's fun, but it has its problems.
Uh,
But that was my little complainy hour of I've been playing things, just not fun, exciting, chat about it kind of things. And reminder, I'm playing this instead of the Metaphor demo. I could be playing Metaphor, but No, I should be having not fun instead and just die on a fucking bullshit fight that it one-shots me, and then I go, well, honey, I guess I have to do this all over again. And she says, were you just here? And I said, yes, I was just here, but now we're gonna do this instead. Yeah. So, I promise I love these games. They're fun. I like being challenged. There are just different ways to do it. But you know what's not challenging? Finding nice things to say about Metaphor ReFantazio. So, I streamed the demo like 2 days after it came out, like a week ago, and I got all the way up until the campfire after you awakened. So it's probably about 2 hours into the demo,
Mm.
if that. And I streamed that on YouTube. You can check that out there. I was very positive on it. I was like, this is so fun. The music is great. I love the story. I love the setting. I love the theme this world is setting up and everything. I cannot wait for more. But what's funny is, like, honestly, Waffles, I think, even if I wasn't playing the answer, and this is a weird thing that, like, some games have been doing more recently, of like playing a demo that says, hey, this will transfer your whole progress over to the main game. Like Final Fantasy 16 is a demo that did this too, where you could play the entire first, I think, full first chapter, maybe even more. Basically, no. 16, I remember, actually let you play all the way up to the time skip. Like in
Mm.
like your first fight after Clive has the major thing happen, and he skips ahead. Like, you know what I'm talking about, in the beginning of the
Yeah.
game. So like
Yeah.
that demo let you play all of that. Like that whole intro all the way up till like that first boss fight, it let you play it all, which is crazy. Like that's a lot of game there for free. And
Yeah.
Metaphor is very much in a similar camp of your save transfers over, it's the full game. You're not going to have to worry about it like not saving there or not doing anything with it. And like in my brain, I do this thing of like I want to play it, I want to get my hands on it, but I almost don't want to play it till I'm playing the full game. And I
Mm.
don't know why, because it's like in my brain, I'm like, I know I'm not popping trophies where I should be popping trophies. I want to have that experience of, I wanted to play the game early, so I played the demo, but also when launch day comes, I don't want to just like transfer my save and then just be like, oh, I'm 4 hours in.
Mm.
Like, does that make sense, or do I sound like an insane person? Because I know most people do not think that way.
I mean, that's your thing. I don't
So,
think
like,
it's
for
unlimited.
you, where you're at with it, because I'm pretty sure wherever you're saving, it'll let you just do it. Because some games are weird. Well, they'll be like, well, you can transfer your progress, but you have to beat the demo before you can transfer your progress. Like, even if that wasn't the case, where you're at with the game, assuming you get the game whenever you get the game, are you ready to just immediately be like, cool, transfer my save, let's pick up where I left off, boom, bam, let's go?
I honestly, I would probably just start fresh.
Okay. And that's really weird. It's like, I kind of like doing that too. It's not even just the trophies. It's like because I played the demo, I have that knowledge of kind of what's coming up, and then I'll be like, oh well, let's pick this dialogue option now, or let's see like what this thing is, or maybe I might have missed X, Y, or Z, like treasure chest in this dungeon or something like that. Like I don't
Hmm.
feel like I'm wasting my time playing the demo, but I also want to play on a fresh save when I get the game.
Yeah.
But that's Spencer's dumb explanation to nobody of why he's not playing the demo anymore. Waffles, you have actually been playing the demo. You don't have to get into like specifics of like where you're at for it, but like hours wise, do you know like how long you've been playing it?
I would have to check, and I'm not really a good gauge of like how long a game
I
takes
took
to
a
play.
9 hour nap during the first boss fight. Sorry about that. The clock's all
Honestly,
fucked up
though,
now.
like I'll just
You're
wander
just
away,
zonked out. You
like,
took an ambient before the awakening fight, and you've just been sitting there on the pause screen.
but and generally I just run around and fiddle with stuff. Like I'll go around to like every NPC, and then like if I'm like, oh wait, did I already talk to that guy? I go back and I talk to that guy, and I'm like, oh right, I totally did already talk to this guy. So I just like I I take a long time. So my hours are not a good gauge of how long it'll take for like normal people.
No, but I mean, it still sets the precedent of like, oh, but I've played this X amount of time. Like, would you say at least like where I'm at, where I described it, how much farther would you say you are?
Uh,
Because I know there's like
maybe
a,
like an
I know
hour
there's like a
further.
dungeon in the mines. Have you gotten past that?
I have not gotten past the mines. I am in
Okay,
the mines. In the
okay,
within the mines, I have gotten to an area that is a safe zone, kind of like in the palaces in P5,
okay.
where there's like the break room. So I've gotten to wherever in that dungeon is a break room. That's where I'm at.
Oh, perfect. Okay. Um, there's a lot to talk about, so I'm trying to think of like, all right, what can I ask you that's not just immediately getting into it? Initial thoughts. Let's pretend you're still tweeting. You're just like, man, I've been playing Metaphor. I want to make a tweet about it. What's the Waffles tweet on Metaphor?
I like the pro tag.
Oh my god, can I tell you how happy I am that they're not a fucking silent protagonist? I'm so happy.
Yes, it's so
Oh my
good.
god.
And I'm also extremely biased because the voice actor when he started talking I'm like that's totally the MC, the male MC from Honkai. Like
You're
that's him,
right, that
right?
is them! I was like, where do I know
Yeah.
them from? You're right. No wonder you're
Yeah,
fucking the
Caleb.
Honkai boners
Yeah,
transferring to the
Caleb
game.
Yen. I'm like, I last time I checked, he hadn't said anything on his Twitter, but I'm like, this is 100% him. This is him. And so I was like, I already thought that the design was cute, but then I'm like, oh, it's Kalis. Oh, but yeah. So I think he's cool. I love that, like the Honkai MC. Uh, they occasionally, actually have voiced dialogue. Oh,
Oh
and
my god.
Honkai is kind of inconsistent because like sometimes it's silent, but then
Well,
other
hey, Honkai is at least better than fucking Genshin with it. Genshin, they like jump through hoops and ladders to explain why they don't talk.
You mean Paimon explains? No. Oh
Yes.
God, that's another thing I want to say about Metaphor. I'm like, I saw a fairy character,
Hmm.
and I'm not even a Genshin person. I have never personally played Genshin, but I was interested in Arlecchino. So a friend of mine played her episode for me, and like I'd heard stuff about Paimon, and this is probably just every. This is probably just saying something that has been said 1,000 times over, but I was like, oh my God, Paimon is so fucking annoying. Like I cannot
Let me
wait
tell
until
you
this
let me
lady
tell you a
stops
take no
fucking
one's ever
talking.
said before.
Paimon is annoying. Hot take, but anyway. But yeah, so like I saw a fairy and I'm like, oh my God, no, not this shit. But she's actually not annoying at all. I actually like the fairy.
Now, it's really interesting because like this is a good comparison for it. Now, Paimon's a great example of the extreme, but you've been playing Vengeance, so where do you compare? Obviously, way more of a minor character, but a similar kind of role, especially initially in that first area. Amanazako versus her.
Um, I
Sorry,
think
Gal
Amanazaka was
wait,
okay.
Galicia? I'm trying to remember. I was like, oh, hold on,
Gal
what's her name again? Galicia,
Gallica?
right?
Gallica? I
No,
don't
you're
know.
right, Gallica, because it's Gallica. So I was trying to remember, like, do I do more of an emphasis on the L or the I? But yeah, Gallica is her name.
Yeah, so but Amanazaka was fine. She was fine. I have a friend who absolutely loves her, so I'm like,
What?
I-
Who
I'm
loves
not gonna
Amanazako?
I'm not gonna shit on her. She's
No,
fine.
no, I've
She's
got no
not
beef.
Paimon level.
Yeah, she is no Paimon, but like, that's like if someone was like, oh, I stand I stand Nocturne Fairy, not Fairy, Nocturne
What?
Pixie.
What? Who doesn't?
No, no, no. Listen, but like that Pixie is fine, but like let's all be honest with ourselves, society. that pixie is the most interchangeable with any other pixie. Like, there's like maybe one or two side quests that you could kind of get a personality of them from. Like, their relevancy never comes back up unless you get Super Pixie, and most people
That's
don't get Super
fair.
Pixie.
That's fair.
And it's like at least 50 hours later. No one can be like, oh yeah, I loved this character who I ignored for 60 hours and then I got her up to level 80.
Okay.
But yes, Gallica, if you hate her, I will need a very, very convincing argument slash 3-page essay because I think she is infinitely a better written character than what her assumed stereotype would be.
Oh yes, absolutely. I'm like, oh, she's like a character.
Well, and also, yeah, that's the problem with this game is I can already tell Waffles, Metaphor is going to have the fucking Danganronpa problem with me. Most, because like most Atlas games, and I'll just use Persona as the example because obviously they have a much more fleshed out kind of cast. Persona 5, I never was like, oh man, I just can't pick a favorite. No, I have my favorites. Like it's a very easy favorite list. Like I'm not losing sleep over who's best girl in P5. P4 gets harder, but even then realistically like I always know it's going to be Yosuke and I love Kanji and I love Chie, but also like Yukiko's great, Rise's pretty good, no one's bad, but like I don't like kind of hold them in that regard of like I love this whole cast. Where like I think of like some of the Danganronpa games and I go I adore too much of you fuckers. I like you all too much for too many reasons. And the cast is big, but they're all really different and they're all really weird and they're all really out there, even if they're kind of like similar to some stereotypes. And man, I get that vibe for Metaphor. Like the second we got introduced to Stroll, I was like, I'm going to fucking love you.
He's pretty cool.
And the fact that like we have, oh my god, and it's like especially because like in the opening it's like you're getting introduced to all these different characters and all these different like even just the ones that like you know like you see their art and you just go oh my god you're so fucking pretty, but then you just think about like oh my god I want to learn about all of you so bad, like I want to learn about all the lore in this world.
Hmm.
So that's where I was kind of at with it. How are you feeling about the cast so far? I mean, like I know we're still pretty early, but like where are you kind of at in terms of the characters specifically?
I think they're really interesting, and I'm appreciating the variety in the designs this round in this game.
I mean,
Um,
you talked about Vengeance looking like a crazy art piece. Like I always constantly found myself when I was playing Metaphor of like I would look up at the skybox and I'd be like, it literally just looks like a fucking painting.
hmm. Yeah, yeah. The visual feel of Metaphor is incredible, and like you go in like the UI, like the menu and shit, and I mean, it's like a painting. I'm like, this is gorgeous.
Well, and it's wild too of like they lovably afford saving cheap bastards at Atlas Japan and Studio Zero. I 100% believe and know that this game is made on the P5 engine. It is so impressive that you can tell that they are fucking cranking that engine to its fullest. Because it's
Mm.
like, would it have probably been easier to just make it an Unreal Engine 4? 100%. But the fact that they just wanted to do it on the same ass engine that they made a crusty ass PS3 game in back in 2017, good for you guys. Good for fucking you.
Mm.
Um, but yeah, like this, I wish I remembered it, but like that like opening city when you finally get past the like little desert area is
Uh-huh.
so fun just to kind of like run around in, just because it was like. And again, they like Atlas. I feel like I always like tell them I'm like, man, I wish you guys had the budget just to voice everything. But like, I feel like they keep getting better about that of like having more and more things always voice acted.
Hmm.
And that city was such a fun example of like I loved the little like overhearing conversations thing happening. Of
Yeah.
like it really like it's not it doesn't feel like an open world level, and I don't want this to feel like an open world game, but those moments of like here's the city, here's all the different types of characters and creatures you're going to kind of run into for it. It really sends that message home of like this is a really cool different fantasy world than anything we've seen before.
Hmm. Yeah, that's another thing that so far the world building seems like it's setting up to be something really interesting.
Now, Waffles, have you been scared at all by metaphors? The wokeness made you get scared about the game. Have you seen the troglodytes out there on Twitter trying to with a straight face tell us that Atlas West is too woke and ruining metaphor?
Are they are they are they woke?
Legit, legitimately, it is so funny. Like, and I told us there was a friend of the show. I met up with him yesterday. Friend I hadn't seen in a long time, John. Um, was talking to him about it, and it was like people are getting mad at metaphors allegory for racism, which I think is actually really well handled and really an interesting kind of complex with all the different like character classes because there's the nine not character classes the nine like nationalities or like different races out there
Hmm.
that there are because you're basically like the last one of like the humies and
Yeah.
at its most boilerplate description it's basically just Zootopia light. It's like, have you ever seen Zootopia?
I have not.
But like Zootopia's whole thing is there's the carnivores and there's the predators, and that's a very overt comparison to
Oh, like Beast
minorities in
Wars.
America. So like it's not doing anything that you're doing great levels of mental gymnastics for to understand the racism conversation, but it's people seeing that online and being like, "Oh my God, this game's gonna be ruined. It's about elections and racism in a country." It's too woke for me, man. Oh, like wait till we find out. God forbid, there's going to be a same-sex relationship in the game, and they're going to blow their brains out.
Oh God, just go play Call of Duty. I'm sorry, Call of Duty players. I'm sorry.
I will forgive you. I am excited about Call of Duty Black Ops 6. Please don't shoot me.
Um, but yeah, I guess fuck those people. I don't know.
Well, no, and it's funny because like I think a large part of it is like, and I mean the most I actually interacted with it was a large part of these people on Twitter nowadays because like the way Twitter monetizes things, it's definitely people rage baiting. Are you like aware of that term?
Yeah,
Of like
yeah.
I'm gonna rile up a bunch of people's emotions because I'll get a bunch of impressions, and because I monetize on Twitter, that means the more people who are either agreeing or mad at me on the comments, I'm getting money from ad revenue that way.
Hmm. Yeah.
And if you want to do that shit, sure. I'm not going to fucking try and fight you because I know like this is just the system that is. Whatever. My thing where I got involved with it in the sense of I'm going to tweet about it and be like, "Hey, you're a fucking shithead if you do this," is them specifically going after and screenshotting people working on the localization of the game and making fun of them for how bad of a job they did. And like not even like, oh hey, ha ha, this is bad, because again I've been very critical even of localizations before. I think P5 base P5 has a pretty bad localization. I think there's a lot of spots that they could have fixed and never did,
Mm-hmm.
but at the same time I'm not over here screenshotting people saying, hey, let's make fun of the things that this person decides to openly share on Twitter, whether it be who they are, how they present themselves, and even fucking like their ethnicity or like race and religion, like stuff like that. And
Hmm.
it's just like, get the fuck out of here with that. Like that stuff, I like. No, I'm not gonna put up with that at all. Expect like whether if I knew the person or not. Like that's the stuff that I want to call out in terms of, hey, this is stupid. Call it out and then move on, because as much as it sucks to say, I know at the end of the day that those people are just going to make a big fucking mess and complain about it,
Hmm.
but they were never going to buy the game anyway. Like
Don't
these
you
are
love that?
like, oh yeah, like I mean, are you aware of like the non-traversy with Dragon Quest 3?
I don't think I heard that one.
God forbid, the female barbarian class in Dragon Quest 3, they put a fucking sports bra and underpants under her armor to make it less showing everything to the imagination in the official character portrait. Reminder, it's still pixel art. You still cannot see her actual boobs and butt. But because they censored poor Akira Toriyama's art by putting sports bra and panties on, it's gone woke. We can't let the woke agenda win, Waffles.
Oh my God, just ruined. Just ruined.
Oh, and then the best part is, when all of this is coming out, you then find out that it is just people complaining to complain, and none of them have ever actually played a Dragon Quest, plan on playing Dragon Quest 3, and just look for things to complain about because, again, rage baiting equals money, and money equals the only thing that matters at the end of the day.
Mm,
And like, unfortunately, like the whole point, like for me, that kind of boils down with this is always the thing of like, I don't ever want to bring that much attention to it because like it's just like, why get yourself into that shitstorm on Twitter when you know
yeah.
it's never going to end and you're never going to change any of those people's minds because they were never
Yeah.
going to actually care about this game to begin with.
Mm-hmm. Yep, they are just farming money.
And it sucks because like I see friends and other like mutuals jumping into the discussion and trying to either like defend it or like try and dunk on someone and things like that, and it's like whether you win or lose or like nothing comes from those at the end of the day. I'm always on the side of like, that vocal minority will always be there, but like if all of us really just collectively took a step back and like realized the world doesn't just live on Twitter,
Mm-hmm.
most of us are just playing this game and having a good time.
Yeah,
I'm not
this
saying
is
that this.
such.
Yeah.
Sorry, go ahead.
No, 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 no. I want to hear what you're going to say, but yeah, like my thing with it is like, you are always welcome to call the bullshit. Please do. I'm never going to say you can or can't talk about X, Y, or Z with it, but it's like it's just you get to a point where you have to ask yourself: is this how I want to spend my free time online? When I would instead be like, oh my god, I would love to talk about how happy I am that metaphor is coming out, or like I'm really liking this voice acting, or even like something like if it's like, hey, the metaphor discussion's kind of polluted right now. Let's talk about something else. Oh my god, I'm so happy that Silent Hill 2 remake turned out well. Like just other things with it. Like there are so many other things we could like give positive attention to, but
Right.
I know it is just so hard because negativity always sells, at least
Mm-hmm.
online.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
what were you gonna say before I cut you off?
I mean, basically, that's such an important point that these people are farming engagement. It's they're literally making money off of making you unhappy, and if you quote tweet them for the dunks or whatever, you're not going to change their mind, and you're giving them money. It's so
Yeah,
hard to not
you're
want to
pay,
fight back,
you're
but
paying them to not change their mind. That's the worst part.
yeah, yeah, and it sucks. It sucks. It's such a hard reality to accept, but like that's what is happening. That is what Twitter is right now. Uh,
Daily user Spencer over here still tweeting.
yeah,
I
sometimes I
think
go on Twitter, I'm just, oh my God, this is eroding my perception of the goodness of humanity. I need to get my ass off of here.
this is such a different topic that I want to talk about, but it's again it's such a weird one of like, I also kind of always want to talk about those people that's like, we're clearly, I mean, I think we could now admit this at this point. There is no upcoming or even relatively soon upcoming replacement for Twitter. Like,
Yeah.
if it was gonna happen, it was gonna happen back like what, a year or two ago when everyone said it was happening.
Hmm.
But it like wraps into the negativity discussion thing of like, hey, there's a lot of like normal shit still happening on Twitter. And that's a lot of the stuff that I interact with more than anything. Like, if it ever seems like I'm slowing down my Twitter usage, I'm still on Twitter every day. Even if I don't tweet about something. That being said, because like I think especially the way that Twitter now has the for you and the following, I think if a lot
Hmm.
more people just scrolled their following list versus the for you list,
Yep.
you would have a way better experience in terms of like here's my thing. If you're someone who uses Twitter and you like jumping into those discussions that are outside of your circle and it's someone who's putting a really shitty a great example, like so something that like my Twitter for you showed me a lot this week was a lot of people and I think this mostly came from some like YouTube guy called Mighty Keef. I've seen a couple of his things. uh I looked into trying to like get him on, but it was like one of those things of like his tweet was like so I was so on the opposite side for it. I couldn't even begin to understand how someone rationally, like with a fully functioning working brain, thought this way. But he was tweeting and it said, I'll even try and pull it up and quote it exactly here. But the gist of his tweet was Microsoft, no, sorry, Atlas is doing such a bad job of marketing Metaphor because they let Microsoft pay them to market the game.
Hmm.
So because of that, they think, oh, if Xbox advertises the game, people will think it's an Xbox exclusive. People don't buy Xbox games. This game will bomb. So here's his tweet. Atlas is terrible at marketing. Full stop, period. They should have never let Xbox have the right to advertise this game. JRPGs do not sell well over there. Like Xbox is a fucking country or something. I still get people that tell me that Metaphor is an Xbox exclusive. Get this game when it comes out. Man, it's fire. Again, not wrong about what he's saying about the game's opinion. The thing where I just can't wrap my hand around this is I've never met a single fucking fan of RPGs who's looked at any of the marketing for Metaphor and thought, oh, it's only been advertised on Xbox. It must only be there.
I mean, and even if you were confused, you could just like Google.
Look, yeah, exactly. Like, who are these people who are like, oh man, I really hope that new Indiana Jones game comes out on the Switch? Like, no, yeah, like we're all so like even as fucking illiterate as this country has become over the last couple of years. You have the tools to look this up. No one's just no one just looks at like the next Gears of War and just goes, "Man, I sure hope that's on PlayStation." And again,
Yeah.
that's the first party Xbox thing is another one with it. But like, here's the funniest thing, Waffles. Even as someone who doesn't follow this as much as I do, Xbox has had a marketing deal with Atlas where they've been paying them for all of these titles. And tell me any of these that have bombed. Persona 5 Royal, Persona 5 Tactica, Persona 4 Golden, Persona 3 Portable, and Metaphor. No, sorry, and also Persona 3 Reload. All of those in the West, from announcement to release, have been Xbox first marketing, advertising rights, all of that pushed out there. So
Hmm.
9 out of 10 times when Atlas uploads a trailer, they will start or possibly only show an Xbox logo. But if you ever look up a tweet, website, anything with it, they will always say, even press releases, they will always say what platforms the game's coming out on. PC,
Hmm.
PS4, PS5, Series X.
Yeah.
None of those games have sold bad. None of them.
Yeah. And I don't know. I'm like, why would you not assume people wouldn't take a second and research? Like when my brother and I were confused about the platforms that the Suikoden remaster was being put out on, we
Yeah,
we
that
Googled
literally
and we
that
found out.
That literally last week, it was at TGS. They showed it off, and they only talked about Xbox for this weekend in HD.
Yeah, like we Googled. It was very fast.
It takes more. It takes more time to make a tweet complaining about marketing that you can't prove is bad than it would take to just type in. You don't even need to type in what platform it's on. I'm gonna do here. I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna open up an incognito tab. Let's do this right now. I'm gonna type this in. Metaphor game. Metaphor game. First thing it pops up: Steam, PC, and then look on the right. Platforms listed in order: PS5, PS4, Series X, Series S, Microsoft Windows PC. It's right there. Like, you didn't even have to
Really
scroll.
not
That's
hard.
just right there in front of your face.
Yeah, like people, we know how to do this. Like we know how to
And
do it.
it's so funny because it's like, bro, I'm so mad at this even now. The fucking website even has a giant banner on the bottom with all 5 platforms listed right there. Like, it's not even like, it's not like they're not allowed to say it's on other platforms. It's just trailers. So, like, that, going back to my point on that was, that's something I saw from, like, my For You that I would not have seen if I just saw through following, and that was something I felt the need to share my opinion, saying, I think this is such an absolutely moronic idea that anyone would take this seriously, and I explained my thoughts about it. There are people who agreed with me, there are people who didn't. That's as far as I kind of took with it. And ironically, this dude is one of those like accounts of like he took all the people who were giving him reasons that his points were like or not even his points, his worry was in vain. He was the kind of guy who was like there was no convincing him. He's at no point looked at all of the people tweeting at him and been like, "You're right. I should wait." And again, the game's fucking out in 5 days. You could just wait, and if it bombed and then in a month he made that tweet, sure, you made a point. You could then maybe look at the marketing and say, yeah, I think that might be the reason the game bombed. But like, you can't just like be like, guys, I don't think enough people on Twitter are talking about this video game. I think it's gonna bomb. Spoilers, everybody. I know it feels like the whole world revolves around Twitter, but thank God it fucking doesn't. Like, could you
Yeah.
imagine, Waffles, like, the next time you went to the fucking Wawa, the guy checking you out would just be like, "Oh, hey, what have you been tweeting recently?" Like, I don't want to it's like, I don't want to fucking talk about
Uh,
Twitter with you. So yeah, that was my dumb thing, and the whole point, the whole very long delayed point, probably back when we were talking about fucking the Phantom Menace 9 hours ago. The point of that for me was like, if this is something you want to get involved in, great. But I think if more people had that mindset of like, hey, worry less about dunking on people or trying to like make people look dumb or prove a point, or instead of trying to change people's minds more, I think more people would probably be better off just treating Twitter like a place for you to vent, look at other people venting, and not lose any sleep over it.
yeah, don't give them oxygen.
Because like
Just
I think you're a
try
great
not
example,
to.
Waffles, of like you are on Twitter, but you definitely use Twitter way less than you did probably even like 5 or 6 years ago, right?
Oh yeah, definitely.
But at the same time, it's not like the site has gone down so much that you feel like it has no worth to it in the sense of like you're not deleting Twitter.
Yeah.
So it's like the site still has value because I don't know how many you have there. I had a decent amount of friends who were like, the fact that I have to say this is so fucking sad. Like, people basically treated Twitter like doomers of like, oh bro, yeah, this site's like a nuked wasteland. There's no value to be had here. I have plenty of great interactions with people on Twitter, like new and old, of like you get in what you put out. And spoilers, if you just look up a lot of fucking annoying, depressing shit all day, it's going to lead to doom scrolling. There's a lot of
Yup.
free cat pictures out there, guys. There's a lot of cute birds on Twitter you could still look at.
Yeah, like the other day, I realized that I had looked at a few too many negative posts, and I went to my For You page, which I'm not super in the habit of doing, but like I realized I'm like, oh, I have poisoned the waters here because this is really depressing me. I'm closing Twitter and going to the store.
Yeah, the funny one will be like, especially comparing like different sites' algorithms are always really funny. Of like my wife recently was like, "Why the hell is my For You page on TikTok just nothing but like Beyonce and P Diddy?" And I'm like, "All right, let's look at mine." We scrolled through mine. It was like relationship videos and people opening trading card packs. It was like we might have been on two completely different like planets.
Yeah, today I looked at my For You and it was bird videos. I was like, thank God.
Yeah,
Thank God for
so
bird videos.
thank God. I mean, thank God for birds. I just say that
Thank God for
on a general.
birds. Yeah.
Metaphor, pretty good looking birds in that game.
Yep. Pretty good looking in general.
So Waffles, very late to the party here, but possibly the worst worst plain discussion I've ever had talking about a video game for. But do you have any other thoughts about Metaphor you would like to do before we get out of here?
I think I'm actually looking at my notes that I took.
How about those
Um,
Germanic chants?
oh, I thought the music was cool. I actually had to bump it down a few notches
It's
because
it's heavy. It comes
yeah,
at you
it
hard.
is. Oh yeah. I'm like, this is great, but also in the scenes where there's dialogue, there are competing vocals in the music with these voiced lines. So I got to turn this down, but this is good. Um, but yeah, I think it's good. I like it.
Um, Other ones that I know are going to kind of come up, I wanted to ask you, but again, if you have some stuff from your notes that you just kind of want to put out there, also let me know. How did you like going back to party members not starting with free control? I actually liked it.
Oh yeah, no, I didn't hate that. I thought that was, I mean, yeah, my reaction to it wasn't, oh, I fucking hate this. I thought that was all right. I know that I know a lot of people don't like that, and I think that's, I mean, that's their opinion and it's valid, but my personal opinion was that it was okay.
How about the art design and the menus?
Gorgeous,
I think like
extremely
the
beautiful.
I think like the use of anime cut-ins, I find like it's similar to P5. I
Mhm.
find them incredibly more well used. Like I don't know what it is about it, but like the way, and again, a lot of this could have just be like because Atlas games definitely are a little bit guilty of being very heavy with anime cutscene usage in the beginning and then less so later on. But like man, the animation looks really fucking good in this game.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
How are you feeling about what we've seen so far with archetypes and the skill tree from what you kind of looked at it so far?
Um, I think I need more time with the skill tree to figure out how I feel about it. As far as the archetypes themselves, I think I mean, I feel like the system feels like it's gonna be fun. Um, I liked some of the designs. I think I felt overall that uh, it's probably not fair to be like, well, compared to Persona, art, like personas, some of these don't feel as distinct from one to the next as personas often do in Sojima's designs, but there were a few that stood out. Like I loved I actually went on online later and like looked up more of them. I like the Seeker, like the default guy. I like the Soul Hacker. That looks really, really freaking cool. I think the Mage was okay.
Did you see the
Uh,
Devil Summoner?
I don't think I did.
Can I tell you what he does?
Yes.
He, I shit you not, will literally summon demons from SMT.
Oh,
Straight up, the one they have shown, because they're being very like shy about like which ones, because obviously they don't want people to just think it's another SMT game. But I
hmm.
mean, it's an Atlas game. I would have been shocked if he wasn't in here. He can straight up just summon Jack Frost,
Oh, that's cool.
and
I
he
like
looks,
that.
yeah, he looks fantastic. I think that's a really cool, and especially just to limit it to that one class, I think that makes it like still feel like its own thing. I also get the concern. Like I think initially you look at a lineup of all the archetypes, they're very similar looking with the white, the usage of white and all the armor.
Yeah.
That it almost kind of like looks similar. But then I once I like I had started thinking about it like this: of think of it less like a it because it is just straight up an RPG class. But think about it like this: think about it. The archetypes are a suit of armor. Most armor you would see in high fantasy is going to just be steel.
Hmm.
Replace that steel with white, and then that kind of was like, okay, that makes a little bit more sense.
I can see that. Yeah.
Um, Especially kind of like when you think of how diverse and different your main party looks like looking at like because I think like the protagonist and Stroll obviously look very kind of humanoid to the get go, but like look at something like Hulkenberg and Himsmay, like very drastically different looking characters, like almost like from
Yeah.
two completely different games.
Hmm.
Kind of related. I don't know if I've yelled at you about this. Waffles, what's your where are you at in the Boba Wars? Are you pro Boba tea or anti Boba tea? Will your body
Uh,
erupt in flames if like you eat a tapioca pearl? Like what will happen to you?
I like it. Is it bad to like boba? I like
No,
boba.
we're pro Boba here actually. This is a pro Boba cast.
Proba.
Pro Oh no, I hate that. The drippy leaks in the proba are possibly one of the worst things the show has ever ejected out of our vocabulary. No, have you heard about the Kung Fu Tea collab they're doing?
I don't think so, no.
So, do you have any Kung Fu Teas near you?
I let me see actually. Kung Fu Tea?
Yeah, like Kung Fu fighting, but with tea.
Mm. Looks like I do
Great
in
news.
in Philly.
They have not one, but four metaphor drinks.
Oh.
So, kind of news, kind of not. There are four different drinks, all themed. I think they're all new. They're all new drinks, and they're all themed around four of the different characters in the game. So you can order any of the drinks, and you'll get a sticker. There's like one of five different stickers for it. It's like an official collab with Atlas and everything. So tell me if you would try any of these. There's Gallica's Taro Slush, Stroll's Mango Milk Tea, Hulkenberg's Strawberry Lemon Green Tea, and then Heimsmay's Almond Milk Tea.
I'd do the almond milk tea.
So any of those you get, there is a sticker you get, and I'll show you if you go to Twitter. I sent you a picture of the little Astrobot guys. I don't know if you saw that.
Oh, 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 oh. Oh, those are cute.
And where are the stickers? Here we go. So there's five stickers. There's one for each of the drinks with the characters who they're with, and then there's one that's just all four of them kind of lined up like when you're doing the menu.
Oh, cool.
So, A, if you want an excuse to put some boba in your body and hopefully it be pretty good, and slash wanted some weird Atlas merchandise for free, you can check that out. I think they're doing it for like another week.
Man, which character had the almond?
The little rodent guy, Heimsmay.
Oh, okay.
I really wish I liked taro more. That's my only thing. I've tried all the drinks but the taro slush. I'm just like, taro's not bad. It's just not a flavor I like. You know what I mean? Like, where like you know it's good, but it's just not your cup of tea.
That's me with a lot of fruit flavored stuff, actually. I'm more of a coffee or like cinnamon family of spice thing or like a, almond flavor. I'm more in that like section of flavors that I like. I don't know.
Well, I'll tell you though, because so I had the almond milk tea. It's really good. So it's not just like almond milk and a regular ass tea. So it's an Earl Grey with sweet almond milk.
Oh, that sounds good.
Yeah. So check that out. Let me know what you think. Very unbiased. I definitely don't have multiple relatives who work at a kung fu tea, and which is why I go to it way too much. But there's a really cool amount of like art and things they did for it. Like Kung Fu Tea has done collabs and things before. They've done one. They've done like an FF10 drink before. They've done like a Kirby drink. They didn't do 14. That was another boba shop. That was sad. There was none of those near us because they had like a bunch of merch for like that like last boba
Yeah,
14
I think they
collab.
had like a keychain,
Oh
maybe.
yeah, there was a whole bunch, and it was funny too because P3R literally just had a tea shop collab like a month ago. So I
Hmm.
was like, I guess Atlas will probably never do it. So I don't know how Metaphor landed on this list with it, but uh, if you do go, let me know. And B, also try and get a sticker because I don't think there are many left at this point. But also, it's not worth traveling 9,000 miles down the city.
Yeah, it really it kind of depends on the public transit. Uh, how many? Oh, it's like it's like an hour of public transit to get to it.
It would take you an hour to get there, and then you would be done with the drink maybe by the time you got home.
Yeah.
See, that's when you just gotta be like, think of any excuse, like you're like have your parents be like, hey. I mean, I guess to be fair, boba's not that bad to get delivered. Like you could suck it up and like get it delivered if you really wanted. But
Yeah, I
I
wonder if
also
they
hate
deliver
paying
here
delivery
because
fees because
I'm like,
delivery fees are a fucking scam.
yeah, it's a 20-minute drive.
What's a
I
car?
just don't drive.
Yeah, what the fuck is that? Is that like where you get you hook up the big fat rats on the sled like a bobsled and you just let them drag your cardboard around the city?
And something like that.
Um, Metaphor. It's next week. Waffles. Do you have any other thoughts, hot takes, predictions? Even
I
anything you want to put out there?
I hope it sells well. I will not be able to get it.
Boo!
Yeah,
Man,
yeah,
play the demo and then you're leaving it for free.
yeah. I'm sorry.
It's okay.
I just, money.
Let it be known, though, the day Waffles buys Metaphor, it will go 50% on sale the next day.
So, in other words, I need to buy it so that everybody else can get a discount.
So, is it like I'm not buying it? Because obviously it's not like you didn't enjoy it, but is it more of a thing of like I'm just gonna wait for it? There's a lot of games. Fuck that. I need to buy Dragon Ball Z Sparking Zero that comes out the next day. Like, what's the big contention to not get it now?
It is strictly I just don't have the money.
Bro, you are preaching to the choir. I this is a weird one because like I haven't bought any games since getting laid off, understandably, because someone's got to pay fucking rent,
Yeah.
and I just would feel really guilty with everything going on. And what sucks is I'm not going to get like back on my feet pay-wise till probably November if I'm lucky, like knock on wood, just because, unsurprisingly, my father's hard to believe all this. Did you know that, like, you can't just keep pushing back payments? Like, they don't care if you don't have a job. You just have to keep paying things? Isn't that
Damn,
wild?
that's crazy.
So, um, I think I'm in a weird spot with this game. Because on one hand, I have a pre-ordered collector's edition. And I would really, really like to play this game at launch. I would like to cover it for the show. On the other hand, I don't feel comfortable being the kind of person who's like, hey, can you guys get me a copy?
Mm,
Or like, hey, here's the Patreon. Donate to the Patreon so I can play the game. Because, like, the point of the Patreon is, like, obviously to help, like, support me and, like, do the show and stuff. But, like, when that's already going to bills, I would feel weird about just being like, oh, hey, and it's like a thing, because I know some people do things like that where it'll be like, hey, I'm low on this month. Can you kind of help out with that? Like, and I mean, I've done stuff like that. I think I've probably done that like 2 or 3 times myself. Of like, when I got laid off, of just being like, hey, here's just straight up my PayPal or Venmo. If you want to help me out, anything helps. Blah blah blah. Like, I get that when it's like for a bill or a thing like I need to continue on. For a video game, it's tough just because it's that thing of like, I know the show's not going anywhere whether I get it or not. I don't know. Like, does it kind of make sense, like where I'm at in the sense of like I want to play the game, I want to support the game, obviously, but I have to also remember at the end of the day, I've got shit I have to pay for. That's not
yeah.
video games, and that
Mhm.
sucks. That answer blows.
Yeah.
So if I get lucky in the next couple of days and maybe get like either an update on the world's longest unemployment dispute I've fucking had with my state forever. Maybe I can have some money and have a less guilty way of picking it up. I'm not sure. I've still got my pre-order just because I'd rather play it by ear and then know if I don't need to get it or not. Well, don't need to get it. Don't have the fiscal responsibility to get it. But where I'm at, I'm like the demo has sold me like 10 times over. I'm so
Mm,
excited to play this game. Like, I'm sure I will be playing it this month. Because like even then, it's like I will definitely not be able to resist playing this game for long. I wanna jump into it. I want to play the story. I want to be in that conversation. Uh, it's just it's weird because I haven't really had that in a while. Of like, there've been a lot of games like I wanted to play. Like I've had, like I haven't played Astrobot. I haven't played Stellar Blade. I haven't played. Fuck, dude, I'm like so behind on 14 at this point. It's basically like 14 other games on its own. Um, there's just a lot of games, but a lot of games for me, it's easy to kind of say no. I'm going to hold off on just because I have a big backlog. This is the first time in a while where there's been like a really big Atlas release, where it's like, fuck, I feel like I want to be there, but I'm not sure if it'll be weird covering it not being because like we've had things in the show of like back when we used to get review codes. Comparing it to when we didn't, it never really felt that weird because if I didn't get a review code for the game, or even if I did get a review code for the game, I was always buying it either way. I bought every game I've ever been sent for a review code, when applicable. But I haven't had that situation of being like, oh, cool, I'm not only not getting a review code, but I might not play this for like 2 weeks either. So that's kind
mm,
of like that weird like middle ground where it's kind of like, oh man, yeah, games are expensive because like I mean,
yeah.
remember even not the $150 collector's edition. This is a $70 game.
Yeah.
So I think value wise, it's 100% worth the price. I'm not worried about the sales. I'm assuming more people are going to have money than me at the end of the day. I I'm just I'm weird about not wanting to commit one way here or there because I also don't want to say I'm not going to get it and then magically on the last day I cave because I wouldn't be shocked if that happens. But Waffles, at least to kind of stop sounding like I'm throwing myself in the world's longest pity party here, for you, especially just because you have to be similarly frugal with money and stuff, does it kind of come to that point of like, hey, just depending on what the monthly situation is, like, how do you ever kind of decide when you pick something up or not?
It is strictly yeah. Um, it is pretty
How many
much a
pony races you
monthly.
betted on?
What?
How many pony races you betted on?
Oh God, so many ponies. But 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 yeah, it's kind of a thing where I do kind of need to run things down to the wire. Like with Vengeance. Um, I I did end up getting it technically on pre-order still. But it was a thing to where I had to wait till the last minute just to know where I stood financially. So, yeah. Although I am possibly going to pre-order the Honkai thing uh PlayStation 5 release. Possibly, but yeah, I just need to wait and see how
I
things
mean,
shake out.
that's not going to sell out though. Let's be honest. They're gonna make a bajillion of those.
Yeah.
Those are for the sickos like you and me who are like, oh my god, tiny acrylic keychain, I must have. I forget. Did I tell you I actually know the guy who's publishing that physical?
You did, yeah. That was surprising.
I still surprising. You know what's funny? I've been needing an excuse to try and drag him back on the show. Very slightly kind of related because it is kind of like a Persona RPG. Maybe we can get him back on to talk about that. Maybe that'll be enough of a tangential description.
I mean,
Maybe.
you look at Honkai and I'm like there was a recent expansion to the simulated universe roguelike like side game called Divergent Universe, and like
Hmm.
the menu in that, I'm like, this is so Persona 5. Like they take cues from Persona 5. I mean, there are other games also where they take cues from, but you can tell. And like one of the recent boss designs, like literally I was like this this boss looks like a Persona. He
I
looks
mean,
like
let's
a
be honest.
Persona.
The Persona 5, especially with the P5X mobile game, the P5 Honkai collab isn't a matter of if, it's a win. It's a win will it happen.
Hmm. Hopefully it doesn't kill it.
Oh, that is true. I mean, that would be funny. Like if P5 collabs with Honkai, what dies first? The P5 mobile game or Honkai? Because I feel like the MiHoYo games are like unkillable.
Man, they are pretty hardy.
Well, we've talked about Boba and Star Wars and video game dripping all over us. Waffles, do you have any final things you'd like to tell the lovely audience before we get the hell out of here?
I think that probably about wraps it up.
Well, I appreciate you coming on and letting me talk to you about other people who talk about Twitter. I hopefully did not bore you too much.
Nope.
Now, this is always the fun part where we get to tell people where they can follow us online. Where are you? Where do you want to be found online?
You can find me at Worst Catboy on Twitter. I'm sorry, X. No, Twitter. Uh,
I'm an Xer. I like to X. I go to X.com every day.
oh my God. But yes, you can find me there. As far as other places you can find me online, I don't really. I'm just a hermit now.
I mean, weren't you always a hermit though? To be fair,
That's
you're
true.
just like more hermity.
Yeah. Yeah. I need to step out a little more.
One day you'll remember the login to your DeviantArt account and bless us with another drawing.
Oh God. DeviantArt. Oh my God.
How long until we can get you to bust out the Wacom tablet and draw some metaphor fan art? That's the real question.
Oh, that'll take some doing. I need to get back into drawing so
Well,
bad.
see, the real answer isn't we need to get you back in the drawing. We need to just more games need to have Show Minazuki like characters to inspire you to want to draw. Like, I
Yeah.
hope you know this. Like, there's no way to deny it. Like, Show Minazuki might be the most influential muse I've ever seen in your life,
Yeah. It's true. It's true.
whether you
Now
want it to
I
be or not.
I actually I did draw some Sampo from freaking Star Rail because of
All
course I did.
right.
But I am just very shy about sharing my stuff nowadays, but I should get over the shyness. Probably.
I mean, listen, there's a lot of art shared out there. Just know you can always be confident that it will never be the best, but hey, won't be the worst.
Yeah, that's true. And it's
Um,
hand drawn by a person, a human. Never mind.
I
We're
don't
not
know,
going to get
dude.
into that discussion.
What's the AI waffles
Oh
life
God.
like?
Oh God. Oh God. Do we really want to broach that topic?
No, that'll be 2 more hours later.
Yeah. We'll gently lay that one to rest for now.
All right, really tiny aside as we've been talking for like 3 fucking hours. Um, buddy of mine tagged me and he said I typed in some prompts and here is all I put in was udon manga Mega Man podcast, and it was a 9 minute podcast, completely artificially made. I wanted to like claw my fucking ears and eyes out. It was the most and ironically, on a technical sense, I was impressed by some things getting pronounced correctly or better than others, but like it was so boring and like so unlifelike. And it's like, and it was ironic. Like here's the funny thing. I felt the way you look at AI art, like at least to me, like especially like when I'm out in public and I see AI art like for sale, like I'll see it sometimes like at like the mall where we live or something like, or maybe on like a
Mm,
business or a commercial. When I see AI art, I make like that like ugh, like the ugh, like
mhm.
I don't like that. That whole 9 minute clip made me feel the way AI art makes me feel, which is impressive. Like I wasn't looking at any images going along with it. It was just straight audio, and it was so bad I was like third hand cringing for it.
Oh. Ugh.
So I feel very confident that we will not be getting replaced by AI SMTN podcasts anytime soon.
I hope so.
Well, Waffles, thank you for coming on. Beautiful and lovely listeners who I do not get to look at enough with my eyeballs, thank you for listening to the show. If you'd like to help support the show and maybe get maybe avoid me booting up a GoFundMe for my metaphor copy, you can go to patreon.com/SMTN. You can support the show at $1 and up level for early access, giveaways, stuff like that. But the big special shout out goes to all the executive producers who help keep the lights on even more. Big shout out and thanks to John Massey, Crazy Sloth, Michael Wilson, Budweiser Tall Cans, Carlos Hernandez, Cross Renwin, Winwin, Renren, Cross Renren, Winnie, Jagingus, Goro Cero, Solaire, Stephen Yip, and Patrick Dissart. Thank you so much for all of your guys' help. I seriously cannot ever say thank you enough with it. So, thank you all for listening. Thank you, Atlas, for putting out that beefy metaphor demo, which I have ignored after 2 hours. Thank you, Waffles, for coming on. And
Hmm.
thank you for now teaching me about all the juicy, wet honkai dripping that'll be happening.
Yep. My pleasure.
Yeah. Goodbye, everybody.
Bye.